Hey, so let's talk about these little known functions called the database functions. The database functions. Okay, so what are these? We have the DSUM, uh, the average, the count, the count A, the get. Okay, so these are database functions. Um, uh, you can think of them as uh, the the alternatives to the if s functions. Okay, like the sum if s. That one is replaced by the dsum. Then the average if s, it will be replaced by the average. Then count decount, and also what, the decount a. Okay, so as a definition, what are these database functions? Uh, Excel database functions are a group of functions that work with data arranged in a table-like format. Okay, so this is a table-like format. This data is in a table-like format. Okay, so what do we have in a table? You have the first row, which contains field names or column headers. Okay, so the first row, this row, has what? Column headers. Okay, there are headers for the what? There are headers for these columns. Like for car names, this is a header for this what? This column B, right? That's number one. Number two, each subsequent row contains records or data entries. Okay, so all these subsequent rows contain what? Data. Okay, so this is what? This is a database. Okay? So a database, um, uh, it is data arranged in a table-like format where you have headers and the rows. The rows have what? Have data. Okay. So these functions help you perform calculations on a subset of the database that meets certain criteria. Okay. So just as we do with the sum if s function. Okay. Sum if s function. So data has to meet certain criteria for us to what? To summarize, right? So what is the formula uh, for these database functions? Okay, so the formula is, um, if you type the formula, you get the database. So this database is the whole what? It is the whole data set here. Okay, and two, when you type, let's say dsum. Okay, I first of all have to find the database. What is our database? So in our case, this is our database. Okay, then number two, after the database, you find the field. So the field is the column to use in the calculation. Okay, so um so column to use in the calculation, name in quotes or column header. So this is where you need to get your what? You need to get your let's say you want to get your sum. So this is the column you get your what? Your summation or your summary. Okay. For instance, if I go to this data set, if I say, okay, I want to find the total of the cars, or let's say I want to find the total of the prices here. Suppose we sold all these cars, so I want to find the total revenue. So the field, it will be the whole of this one, the whole of this column. This is where you get your calculation, right? So here it says the field, the column to use in the calculation, name in quotes or column number. So it will just be the column number. So you start counting from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that is what you put under field, or the name of that column, that is car prices in quotes. We'll look at that, don't worry. right? And then the criteria, that's the range containing the conditions to apply. Okay. So without wasting your time, let's do one calculation. Suppose I want to have let's say car names. Which one should I have here? Okay. Let's say I want to have company name here. I have company name here. Then I have engine. Okay. Suppose I want to find the total sales for, let's say, company, let's say Ferrari. Okay. So I'll put Ferrari there. And then whose engine, let's say, is the, let's say, should be the V what? Um, yes, for, okay. Okay. Let's see. Do you have enough data here? Let's see. Okay, Nissan, Aston Martin. Okay, let's select here Aston Martin. Okay, let's select Aston Martin. I get Aston Martin there. And then I want the total sales for Aston Martin cars with a V12 engine. Okay, with a V12 engine. Okay, so I want to find the sum of the what? I want to find the total sales for cars, for Aston Martin cars whose engine size or whose engine is V12. Okay, so you can do this through a pivot table, or you can use the SUMIFS function, or in our case right now we're using the the DSUM function. Okay, so let's type DSUM. Just type. What is the database? The database is the whole of this data, including the what? The headers. Okay. So you go down, comma, including the headers. So you do comma. Let's go up. Okay. Comma. What is the field? The field should be the the name of the column or the number of the column. So what's the number of the column? You start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the field is 8, comma. Criteria. What's our criteria? Criteria, these are your conditions. So these are the what? The conditions are here. Okay. These are our what? Our conditions. And just type what? Uh, Enter. Okay. So the total sales for Aston Martin V8 is what? 6.6 million. Okay. That's the total sales revenue for Aston Martin V12. Let's prove that. Okay. So I just do um, Control Shift L to filter. So I'll filter here Aston Martin. Then I'll get here, I'll have V12. Okay. What's the total here? Under car prices, you go down, you find that the total is 6,658,000. Okay. So this is how simple um the D function the DSUM function is, right? So alternatively, let's have the same result using the SUMIFS function. So I just do enter SUMIFS tab. What's the sum range? So this is the sum range. This is where we want to get the sum, comma. What's the criteria range 1? So range 1 should be the range in which you find your condition. So Aston Martin is in this what? In this range, comma. What is criteria 1? Okay, criteria 1 will be in quotation marks it will be what? Aston Martin. Okay, close quote, comma. What is criteria range 2? So criteria range 2 is the range in which you find uh, the V12 criteria condition. So where is our V12? It's in this range. Okay, comma. What will be the criteria 2? Criteria 2, it will be what? V12. Okay, and then I just what? Enter. Okay, so you find that the result here is exactly the same as the result up there. We have used two different functions, but the result is what? It's the same. So this is how simple the database functions are. Okay, so here is the okay for the DSUM. For the DSUM, that's our what? That's our result. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll log, I'll log the ranges. Okay, I'll log the ranges. Let me do that. Let me log the ranges. Let me log them by using the dollar sign, or we call it making them absolute as opposed to relative. So what I'll do here out is like this, control copy, then I'll paste here. Okay, so they are the same just because the results are the same because we locked the ranges. So for the D average, what I'll do is instead of having sum here, okay, look at the formula there. I just remove the sum and put what? Average, tab, and what? Enter. So that is the average sales. For the D count, I'll do the same. I'll just remove the sum and put what? Count and what? Enter. Okay. So indeed there are how many? There are seven vehicles. Okay. For the D count A, uh, D count A counts cells with both figures and text. Okay. So on the sum there, I'll remove the sum and put what? Count A. Enter. So the result will be the same because the contents are the same, right? So for the digit, that's a video for another day. Okay. So this is how simple the database functions are. Okay. So here on this database function, again, instead of having 8 here, we can just put the name here of car prices. The name in quotation marks. So if I just put um, double quotes, cars, space, prices, double quotes, enter. You find the result will be what? It will be the same. Okay. So this is how database functions work. So let me remove the filter by pressing Control Shift L. I've removed the filter. Okay. So there are so many ways of doing this. You can even convert this data set into what? Into a table. All right. So as a recap, database functions replace the if-else functions, like the sum if s. For the sum if s, the alternative is the what? Is the sum if s. For the D average, so that is the average if s. For the D count, it will be the count if s. For the D count A, the alternative would be the what? The counter if S. All right, so in short, that's what database functions are used for. And thank you for your time. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you.